Hey guys, my name is V, English content creator for KND, and this is Hello Stranger. I'm going to be chatting with many interesting foreigners who are living in Thailand to exchange cultures and see what they're all about. And my roommate for tonight is Lizzy Okafor. She has so many interesting stories to share as a black person growing up in Thailand. And at 13, she had a dream of becoming president after being inspired by Barack Obama. Tonight, we're going to learn all about Nigerian culture, the food, the traditions, the religion, and most importantly, how big is the music genre of Afrobeats, and why is Nigeria often referred to as the giant of Africa? Stay tuned, guys. Hello, stranger.
Hi, stranger.
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
Nice to meet you, Lizzy.
Nice to meet you too, B.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Me too.
So first of all, I just wanted to ask you, because you were born and grew up here in Thailand, right? So what was it like growing up as a black person in Thailand?
So let me introduce myself a little bit. So my dad is Nigerian and my mom is Thai, half African American. So I feel like mostly obviously I know I'm black.
Yeah.
And obviously people see me as a black person. But growing up, I feel like I had lots of Nigerian influences in my upbringing and lots of Thai influences in my upbringing as well. So I used both of those influences to grow up and navigate this world.
Yeah. What was it like? Did you go to international school, or what was your environment like growing up?
So I went to an international school my entire life. It's Garden International School in Bangkok. We have a branch in Rayong and also Malaysia, but I stayed in the Bangkok campus. And it was an international curriculum. So, not an international curriculum. Well, it was international. It was a British curriculum. So not American.
Yeah.
Despite my American accent, I didn't have a British accent growing up. And it was great. There was lots of friends. I made lots of Thai friends, lots of international friends, lots of black friends, Blasian friends, Asian, white Asian, European, American. So it was a really great upbringing. I learned a lot from a really diverse community. Yeah.
And growing up in Bangkok, were you surrounded by a lot of other Nigerian people? Where were Nigerian people in Bangkok?
In my school, there weren't many Nigerians. There were lots of Africans though, but if I'm going to meet Nigerian kids, it would be in church. There were lots of Nigerians in my church, Nigerian kids and Nigerian families. Yeah.
So church was a big part of growing up in Bangkok.
Yeah, 100%. Right? You can see the cross on me.
Yeah. We'll talk about that more later for sure. But yeah, so growing up in school and everything, what do you think are some differences between Nigerian culture and Thai culture, growing up, because you have parents from both?
Well, I would say the main similarities is maybe I don't know much about Thai parents entirely, even though my mom is Thai, but I do know that there were similarities with my African side and my Asian side. The similarities is you have to do well in school. You have to get good grades. Your parents worked hard for you, so you need to at least show that you can do something.
Yeah.
And with family, so with Thai cultures, if you're older than me, I would call you P, right? Or my mom's friend, I would say ba or lung or whatever.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything
in Nigerian culture, we say uncle and aunties. Everyone is your uncle and your auntie, even if they're not related. So similarities would be family values and respecting elders. Differences would be Thai people, I feel are very reserved. They don't say things completely, I guess, honestly. They're really nice.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but they will not be upfront all the time. Sometimes my mom would be just don't say it, just leave it. But then my dad would be look, if someone hurt you, you tell them how it's like.
Right, that's so interesting.
So it was quite different. My mom can also be like that, but what I understand from my mom or maybe my aunties, they're very reserved sometimes.
Right.
We're all open with each other, but with other people you don't know. Thai people will be very reserved.
Because Thai people have the concept of geng jai.
Geng jai completely, but with Nigerians, they're upfront. They'll tell you how it is. So I even ask my Nigerian friends why people do that.
Yeah.
And I feel it's because Nigerian people see it as a form of love. So if you're doing something wrong, they will tell you straight up. Maybe if they think something about you needs fixing, they will say it.
Right,
and it's not in a form of insult. They say it's a form of care. I care about you.
Tough love.
Sort of like that.
Better
I'll tell you how it is. Yeah.
Wow. So what do you find yourself utilizing? Do you find yourself being more geng jai or being more upfront?
It's funny now because I'm in a Thai university, so I study law at Thammasat University.
Wow.
The international faculty, so it's international major. I don't study in Thai. I study Thai law and international law, but in English. So it was a really big jump coming from an international school to like a Thai society. Even though I grew up in Thailand, I feel like now I'm very immersed in the Thai society. So in my international school, I was very honest and I was very upfront. If I didn't like something, I would say it. And no one would get offended. Some people might, but that was how all my friends were like.
Right.
My teachers taught us that as well, like to always be honest, you know, say how it is.
Yeah,
but in my Thai university, I feel like my friends like would come and tell me, or I would hear things, they would be like, yeah, I didn't like it when that person said this to me. Then I said, okay, then go tell that person, you know? And they're like, no, I'm like, just say it. It's going to resolve so many things. So now I feel like now I'm very, not เกรงใจ but I would not say things completely. I would just try to understand other people's perspective.
Right, because it depends on like the environment that you're in.
Yeah, it depends on the upbringing as well. I know lots of Thai people who grew up in international schools as well. So they had that mentality of like not เกรงใจ they will be honest.
Right.
But I understand some people might grow up in different upbringings. So I don't want to like, I guess, ruffle any feathers. Like I don't want to like cause any issues. So sometimes I can be honest, but if there's like an issue, there's other ways to resolve it, I guess.
For sure. And I wanted to touch more about you studying law at ธรรมศาสตร์. Like, how did that come to be? Why are you studying law and what led you to this path?
I always say this, it's very silly, but I try to make it sound very formal, but it's honestly my life. So growing up, I knew I wanted to be a princess. I know it's so silly.
That's
I was
so
like, I want to be a
opposite from a
princess.
lawyer.
I want to marry a prince. It's so silly because I love Barbie movies.
Oh, me too.
I love romance. I love just princesses' dresses and stuff. And I don't know, I was like, okay, I like fashion. Maybe I'll be a model or like a nurse. It was just like an idea. Like nurse, it was never like a full thing. I just thought it was nice. And then one day, I think I was in year 7. So in Thailand, they would call it, I think, Bohok. So middle school. Barack Obama, he became president. He was the first black president of America.
Yeah.
And my whole world changed. I was like, what? I never knew. And my dad was so like, my whole family were watching it in the living room. It was such a big thing for us, you know. So we were all watching it. And I told my dad, like, I was like, I want to be president. Wow. And he's like, okay. And he's like, you have to study law. And as a Nigerian parent, in the Nigerian, like, top 3, like, trinity, I guess, you have to, like, a parent will like it if you are a lawyer, doctor, or engineer.
I mean, same with Asian.
Asian and African culture. You have a kid studying law, engineering, or doctor. Wow, he would like brag about it. Like, I have siblings as well. None of them do law or they're not doctors or engineers. But African parents, they're very proud of their kids. So yeah, my dad is very proud of all of us, not just me because I study law. But specifically when I said I wanted to become a president, he said, you need to study law first.
Right.
And I was like, what is the law? You know, then I just became like really immersed with it. I thought laws were just rules and stuff, and then I fully became immersed in it, and I was like, yeah, I love being, like, I want to become a lawyer.
Oh, talk a bit more about your passion for law. Like, did you watch, like, TV shows or, like...
They were like, do you watch Suits or things? I'm like, no. How to Get Away with Murder? No. Most of my classmates did watch Suits, and I remember on my first day in law school, a senior was like, if you think this is going to be like Suits, you're wrong. I'm like, well, thank God I didn't watch Suits. So I was already like, I feel like, okay, I don't have much expectations from a TV show. But growing up, I was very into debate. You know, like, it's not that I liked arguing. It's just that, I don't know, okay, like, obviously in high school and middle school, people would like to argue, fight, whatever. It's not a big thing, like, when they fight, right?
Yeah.
I will always try to be the middle ground person. I would always be, like, the mediator, the middle person.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let her talk first, and then he can talk. You know, I'd be like, give me your points. And I just knew, I was like, okay, I feel like this is for me. And I joined debate class, debate clubs. I went debating with other schools. So I did Garden International School in Bangkok. I went to Garden International School, Rayong, to debates.
Yeah.
And when I started getting awards, like Best Delegate, Best Debater, I was like, this is for me. This is my calling. And then when I did A-levels. So A-levels is like Moha and Moho.
Yeah.
But it's the British system, so you can pick 4 subjects. So I did English, literature, history, business studies, and global perspective. So it's basically essay subjects. And I love writing.
Wow.
I love reading. I love debating. And these were like the subjects needed for law. It prepared me really well. And I never had a time where I was like, I don't want to do law. Like, it's just, I'm so glad it stuck by me to this point. I was like studying law is for me. So that's why.
That's so cool. So is your goal still to become president? What is your goal now?
I don't know. I mean, lots of people like, you can try, I guess. Like, I'm a Thai citizen and I'm also a Nigerian citizen. So if I want to get into politics, it could be in Thailand or Nigeria, but I don't see myself doing Thai politics, so maybe in Nigeria. But
Interesting.
yeah, when I wanted to do law as well, it was more so like helping people. I was interested in international law and immigration. But now I feel like there's so many parts of the law to choose from. So right now I'm just navigating through it. And once I become a lawyer, I think fully I will know which branch I would go to.
Right. And talking about like your identity, like when you were growing up, did you ever feel like certain parts of your life you identified more with Thai culture and sometimes more with your Nigerian background?
Yeah, growing up, I never like thought about it. So in international schools, we would have International Day where we wear clothes of our like cultures. So I have like Thai, Nigerian, African American. So I think I remembered I wore, like, because I went to school with my sisters too, right? And I think one of my first international days, I think my first one, it was like I wore my Nigerian costume. And then the next 2 years we wore like American costumes. American costumes, like I wouldn't say
What is that? What is
yeah,
American
what the
costume?
outfit is, but I think it was like cowboy outfits, like boots, jeans, and a hat. My mom was like obsessed with that part. So we did that, and then I would wear Thai costumes the next 2 years, you know. Now like I have a little sister, so some years she would wear Thai, some years she would wear Nigerian. So having like different outfits each years, I don't think I was confused. It was more so like, yeah, I have this. It was kind of like showing off. I think it was fun. So I didn't really think much about it. And, you know, in international schools, even just at home, I was really into like Hollywood, Hollywood shows, Hollywood films. So I never thought, oh, I'm Thai, I need to watch Thai shows. Oh, I'm Nigerian, I need to watch Nigerian shows. I was just into like Disney, Nickelodeon, all those stuff.
Yeah.
And then maybe like one day, yeah, when I faced racism or whatever, I was like, what is it to be Thai if I'm a black person and Thai people are like racist to me? Would I consider myself Thai? So I think that part I was like, okay, I'm not Thai. I would just kind of disregard my Thai culture. And then after like talking to my mom, you know, because she's African American too. My mom grew up, she's from Buriram, she grew up in Thailand. So she has like tan skin, her like natural hair is really curly. So she would like tell me like, yeah, I faced it too and it will get better, I promise. So having my mom helped me a lot. And I think I was just okay, I'm Thai. Like even if I face racism, I do know that not everyone is like that. And I do know that I'm Thai, whether people like it or not. You know, I can't change it. I am Thai. But I think at some point I was like, okay, what about Nigeria? Like I need more Nigerian friends, you know. Majority of my friends are Thai. Some are African, but like not Nigerian. Like I was like, I need to know more about Nigeria.
Well, you mentioned like when you were like 13, 14, you were like, I need to get more into my Nigerian side. Like,
Yeah,
what did you
it was
do?
specifically that age, because 13, like, I became a teenager. You wanted to know more things, I guess. So I think the main thing was just listening to Nigerian artists and going on, like, I had Instagram and using social media, following Nigerian celebrities, watching Nigerian shows, Nigerian movies. So we have Nollywood. No, there's Hollywood and there's Nollywood. So you can go on Netflix and search Nollywood. There's really good
What
films.
is it like?
I love it. I think one of my favorite is The Wedding Party.
Okay.
It's called The Wedding Party. There's actually so many. There's these two really famous Nigerian comedians, Aki and Paw, AKI and PAW. These two comedians are very popular. Even my dad knows them, so it was traced back for a really long time. But they're still really funny and really popular. So I was just starting to watch it, and I started picking up Nigerian slangs. I started writing down the slangs.
What language are the movies in?
English, because our main language in Nigeria is English, but there's also like a mixture and also Pidgin English. So it's the language that is like the unofficial language. Well, it's official, but like English is the formal one. Pidgin English is informal.
Right.
So Pidgin English basically means broken English. And
kind of like Tinglish?
Sort of like Tinglish, basically.
So let's dive into Nigerian culture. And I heard that a big part of your culture is food, right? And
yeah, of course.
I heard that you brought something today.
Yes, you want to try now?
Yeah, I would love to. Can you
Okay.
talk a bit about it?
So this is a Nigerian snack that everyone knows.
Okay.
Kids, elder generation, they all love it. So it's called chin chin. So it's like a deep fried donut, deep fried dough.
It's
So
like a
it's
snack?
so this is homemade. My uncle made it. So they would use flour or like wheat flour or sugar, a little bit of salt. You can add cinnamon or nutmeg. you mix it with egg and milk, and you mix it, and you fry it.
Uh-huh.
It's actually a really tedious process. I've never made it, but the first time I tried chin chin, so CHIN space CHIN, was in Thailand at a Nigerian like wedding or party.
Oh.
And I went to Nigeria the first time. I think I was 6 or 7. And they sold it everywhere. I loved it. It was so cheap. Everyone had it. So I came back and I was like, Dad, I need it. So every time I would come back from Nigeria, I would order lots of chin chin. They sometimes sell it in like packs, but you can also make it. So
that's so
this
nice.
is how he wrapped it like this because it's homemade, but I'm going to let you try some.
Yeah, for sure.
So it will look something like this.
Wow, thank you so
Try
much.
one. So think of like a dough, fried dough in Thailand.
Like patongko.
I would say so. Similar, I guess. Yeah. It's quite hard, but it's really good.
It would be good with coffee too.
Yeah.
So, is this your favorite Nigerian snack?
I would say it's my favorite, one of my favorites, yeah.
Reminds me of those kha gai. You
Oh
know,
my
kha
gosh,
gai?
really? Well, it depends on how they make it, but I feel like the one you can buy in packages would have a very sweeter, milkier taste. So it depends on what they add, like maybe milk powder or cinnamon. But I feel like, yeah, this is not as sweet, which most Nigerian people, actually, fun fact, don't really like lots of sweet things. So their
Really?
snacks wouldn't be too sweet, but you can substitute and add sweets if you want.
Let's talk about food culture. Food culture is huge in Thailand. Basically, Thai is food, right? So what's Nigerian food culture like? And do you get to experience it while living here in Thailand?
I would say whenever people make Nigerian foods, they think of everyone else. They think of a community. Family is all for sharing. One thing I could think of is like on Sundays after church, like in my church in Thailand, after we worship, we always eat food together in the church. You know, people would come volunteer and cook, and you can eat like for free, of course. We just sit down and eat together. It just brings people together, whether it's Thai food or Nigerian food. But when I went to Nigeria, after church, some churches don't serve food. So after church, everyone go back home, prepare. Like I remember I lived near my grandma, and oh, I miss her. She's still alive. God bless her. I would love to see her soon. After church, she would cook like a big pot of stew, and all the family would come, the cousins and the aunties, and it was just like such a beautiful memory. So from her and from my dad and like everyone around me who are Nigerian, I know that when it comes to food, people would, like everyone would be involved. So, okay, how should I explain? So I can cook some Thai foods. When I make khao pat, you know, it's quite easy. I make it for myself, like, or I can make it for everyone else. But there's recipes where you can make khao pat for one person. In Nigerian food, there's no such thing as make it for one person.
Really?
You will always make a big batch, you know? Like a soup, you wouldn't just make soup for one. You need like chicken stock, you need lots of things.
Do you guys do a lot of like potlucks?
I wouldn't say potlucks,
Like
but
bring your own foods?
honestly, not really, no, because Nigerians, like if you're hosting, you serve everyone. They're very happy to serve. They will not expect you to bring anything, but you can if you want. But let's say I'm hosting a party.
Right.
There will be food 100%
Wow.
with Nigerian people.
Wow, so
Yeah.
in that way, Nigerian and Thai culture is similar, where food is kind of like a community,
It brings
communal
people
thing,
together for
right?
sure.
Because like when I was in America, like people would just order food for themselves and not really much of a sharing thing. But do Nigerian people also do the thing in Thailand where like you just order a bunch of stuff in the middle and then like chon klang and then share everything?
Well, it would be like a big soup, but everyone has their own plate and we dip it for us. Something like that, yeah. Or if it's like jollof rice, it will be a big pot and then we have our own plate and eat.
Oh, and what are some of your like favorite Nigerian dishes?
100% jollof rice. It's like a party rice.
That one's so famous. It's on like
It's always like a
meme.
debate, like
Everyone's memeing
Nigerian
about it.
versus Ghanaian
Yeah,
or whatever. But for me, obviously Nigerian jollof rice. You eat it with fried plantain. You can also have like some salads on the side or some meat. I would say suya. Also, suya is like grilled meat. I think it's quite popular in the northern part of Nigeria, but everyone eats it. It's basically just like grilled meat.
Right.
Suya, and there could be like stew. It's like a tomato-based soup. You can eat it with chicken or fish. It's so good.
Yeah.
You eat it with rice, and then there's also semu. So you will probably know fufu.
Yeah.
There's other ways you can say semu. So you make it with semovita, or you make it with like oat flour, or like some wheat, and you mix it with hot water. You dip it. I remember I have a friend. Her mom is Thai, and her dad is Nigerian. She said semu or fufu, like fufu or semu, it's like khao niao.
Is it? Do you think it's
I
similar?
wouldn't say it's like kauneo because kauneo is rice, but
yeah.
it's similar in the way that there's pairings. Like kauneo,
Right,
you
right,
eat it
right.
with fish or chicken. Semo, you always eat it with soup. So you have okra soup. That's my favorite. Or egusi soup. We're really big with soups.
Do you ever make any Nigerian dishes?
Not really. My mom knows how to make it. My dad knows how to make it, but my dad taught my mom. She loves making it, and sometimes she would teach me. But it actually takes a really long time. Like not really a long time, but yeah, sometimes it takes a long time. But I feel like it's hard. But I always see people enjoy making it, so I would love to learn one day.
Wow.
So I think if I learn how to make it, it would be easier.
Yeah, that's so nice. Yeah, I used to live in Uganda for a couple months, like doing like community service, building a school, and I was put onto plantains. So underrated.
I love plantains.
You can find that here in Bangkok easily.
I think you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
can
kinda
also
like-
order.
It gives me like kind of like banana, but like you eat it with like main food. I don't know, I love it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you about Nigeria being called, or a lot of people like to say it's like the giant of Africa. And when I was in America, I had a lot of like Nigerian friends, and they have this pride to them that they're like the best in Africa or something. So why do you think, like, where did this come from?
Well, first of all, people from my first understanding too, before I dived into the history, the giants of Africa, I would always hear that word during like football games, like FIFA World Cup. Even if we leave the stage early, we're always like, we're still the giants of Africa.
Right.
Or AFCON. AFCON is like the African version of FIFA.
Ah,
So I would always hear giants of Africa. We're the giants of Africa, So yeah, it would mostly be like with sports or with our pride. We're just so prideful. We have lots of people as well. Lagos, one of the main cities, have so many people. Nigerian population is like a lot. So maybe with our music as well, we're so dominant with our music, Afrobeats.
right.
But the real history why we're called the giants of Africa was during the 1990s to the early 2000s, our economy was booming like crazy. And we helped so many other African nations by like helping them, providing funds. And we're also like, one of our main resources would be oil as well. So I guess that's why we call it the giants of Africa. But now it's the opinion. Some people might not think we're the giants of Africa now. Maybe if we compare ourselves to other countries. But Nigerians don't like to compare. That's why, like, giants of Africa, even if you could face the worst recession there, maybe the worst government ever. I'm not going to say that it's the worst government now, but whatever we're facing, whether it's super bad or so good, there's still that we're the giants of Africa sense. There's still that pride in them.
Would you say that Nigerian people are quite like prideful and proud to be like Nigerian?
Prideful. Like sometimes people think pride is a bad thing, but I feel like sometimes when you're away from home, you need that pride to remember where you are from. And I know many Nigerians here, and they're like, yeah, Thailand is great, but Nigeria is always my home. I would always prefer Nigeria. Like almost everyone says that. So there's that pride of where you're coming from, like sense of belonging.
For sure. And you mentioned Afrobeats. So Afrobeats is trending so much nowadays. It's huge, but it's always been around. And when I was living in Africa, like everyone would just be blasting Burna Boy, like Davido, like that's just the normal music that everyone listens to there. And it's so nice, and it's a completely different vibe. And I think a lot of people don't know about it, and a lot of Thai people don't know that it actually originates or from Nigeria, right? So can you talk a bit about Afrobeats and how it influenced you?
Yeah, Afrobeats is one of our very biggest source of pride as well. We're so proud of our artists. So like lots of people in maybe Thailand or America, whatever, like I'm not saying just because you're Thai, you listen to Thai artists. Some Thai people listen to K-pop, like American pop artists. Almost every single Nigerian person I know who are like my age, like teens or a little older, they still listen to Afrobeats. Like there's just that pride of them. It's not like, oh, I'm Nigerian, I have to listen to Nigerian artists. They just love it, and they're so proud that Afrobeats came from Nigeria.
Right.
So I feel like Afrobeats also was like my Nigerian awakening.
Yeah?
if that makes sense. Like when I wanted to immerse myself into Nigerian culture.
When you were like 13, 14?
Yeah, I already had Nigerian food. I always had Nigerian food growing up. My dad would cook, or my mom, or I would go to like African parties. But just immersing myself into Afrobeats and understanding the way they vibe, their music, their slang, that was just an eye-opening moment.
What was like your first step into Afrobeats like?
My first Afrobeats artist was definitely Davido. I love him. Assurance was his song. He was singing to his now wife, Chioma. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so silly. I was like, when I have a kid, I would name her Chioma. Because that was like the first Igbo like name that I knew, even though I'm an Igbo girl as well. Maybe I can explain later about like the tribal parts as well. But yeah, he would also incorporate many like tribal languages and also pidgin languages. So I learned a lot about that as well.
Oh, and so now, like for a lot of people that maybe never listened to Afrobeats before, like what kind of songs would you like to put them on or show them?
Lots of people definitely know Burna Boy, Davido, and Wizkid.
Yeah.
Even when I tell people, like sometimes I would tell like some Thai guys, okay, I'll be like, yeah, I'm Nigerian, and they're like, oh, luchak Burna Boy, man, do you know Burna Boy? I'm like, of course,
That's
all
the
of them
first
know
name,
Burna Boy or
yeah.
Davido. Besides like Burna Boy, Davido, Wizkid, I'm not saying that that's the top three. It's very subjective. People have many different artists they like.
For sure.
My favorite, maybe it's, I feel like this is the best. Maybe it's just a biased opinion, but Ashake. Asake, but it's pronounced Ashake.
And what
I
song
love
would
him
you
so
recommend?
Much. Definitely Terminator. There's lots of pidgin language in there. I just love the vibe and the way he talks and converses in the song. So Ashake, Terminator by Ashake. Olamide, Infinity, that's the name of his song, and he collabed with Omale.
Yeah.
They're both Nigerian artists, so those are my top two male artists right now who are Nigerian. And I'm sure you know her, Thames.
I love Thames so
Everyone
much.
know her from like her collabs or Free Mind or Higher
Essence.
or Me and You. Essence was a collab with Wizkid as well. That's pretty good. But my favorite would be like Love Me JJ. That was very like there's Afrobeats in there. You can tell like. And with all these artists that I mentioned, even like Davido, Burna Boy, whatever, let's go with Ashake, Olamide, Omale, and Thames. In the beginning of their songs, there's always like a little intro and you can feel the vibe already. That's how I love it. Like that's like the Afrobeats vibe. Before they sing, they're already like setting you up for a good experience. And besides them, my girl, Aya Star. She's
so
called
good.
a Gen Z baddie. Like all Nigerians call her like the it girl. Like like Americans would say it girl, right? Like it girl, but we say Gen Z baddie.
Really?
She's a Gen Z baddie. So my favorite song from her would be Rhythm and Blues. Lots of people might know her from Rush, but she has lots of great songs. So those would be my favorites right now.
Wow.
But there's other ones as well. Yeah, so lots of people think Nigerian music is just Afrobeats, which it was originated in Nigeria, but we also have other music. So Adekunle Gold, I love him so much. He's a very contemporary African artist. He also does Afrobeats, but contemporary, he would go like the classical route.
Oh,
it would be
interesting.
upbeat, but it would not just be only Afrobeats.
Wow.
Afrobeats. So my favorite song from him would be Sade, but it's written S-A-D-E, but it's pronounced Sade. Yeah.
Wow. Well, every time I play an Afrobeat song, it just puts you in such a good mood, right? I think like people that don't know about it are missing out like on so much. So like based on TikTok and social media, we see a lot of like videos of dancing and singing like when it comes to like African people. Like why do you think music and dancing is such a big part of African culture?
We're just a very happy group of people. It brings people closer together. Even in church, everyone's dancing. I remember when I went to Nigeria the first time, church was a big thing. Everyone was dancing, and I was like, wow, just even with just like praising the Lord, you dance.
Wow.
Seeing your friends, you dance. Everyone dances. This is a way of bringing people together. In weddings, you dance. In birthday parties, you dance. When you're happy, you dance.
Wow.
I love it. Like when you listen to music, you dance. Everyone dances.
I've been to like African American churches where people have they have a whole band, a choir. Everyone's like having a blast in there. Like, is it similar in like Nigerian churches?
Oh my gosh, I feel like it's similar or even bigger. Like Christianity is very big in Nigeria, and religion and dancing and singing as well. Everyone loves to sing, and dance. So I feel like I'm not going to compare, but from what I've seen anyways, it's very big. It's a big thing.
So you think a big part of it is church for sure?
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you, like, what kind of languages do you guys speak in Nigeria?
So the official language would be English, but we also have other languages as well. So we have many tribal groups. So the main tribal groups would be Igbo tribe. That's my tribe. It's pronounced I-G-B-O, Igbo tribe. There's the Yoruba tribe. Most Afrobeats artists
Yoruba.
I realize are Yoruba. Y-O-R-U-B-A, Yoruba.
Like Thames, I think, right?
I think so, yeah, but majority are Yoruba tribe. And there's the Hausa tribe, that's in the northern part. H-A-U-S-A, the Hausa tribe. So those are the three main tribes in Nigeria, and we have our own languages. And there's also like, I think, 522 other tribal languages
Whoa.
in Nigeria. I know there's the Edo tribe as well. I think it's quite close to Igbo land. People call it Igbo land. So like Igbo tribes are like in a particular area, I guess.
Of Nigeria.
And there's like the Edo tribe as well. But yeah, the three main tribes would be Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, and my dad speaks the Igbo language.
Whoa. So that's so interesting. And between the tribes, like, are the cultures a little bit different, or is it just like the language?
I guess everyone would consider it different for sure. So maybe with the language, yeah, the language are different. I think before I talk about the differences of cultures, I forgot to mention pidgin language. So it basically means broken English. So let's say I only speak Igbo and English, and let's say you only speak English and Yoruba. So if you look Nigerian and I see that you're Nigerian, I will talk to you in pidgin. If I like talk to you in Igbo and I'm like, oh, you're not an Igbo guy, I'll talk to you in pidgin.
Oh, because pidgin is kind of like the middle ground between.
Yeah, everyone talks to each other in pidgin.
Interesting. So
if it's not English, it would be pidgin.
So what words do you use? Like, do you use Yoruba words or Igbo words?
Let's say you're a Yoruba person, I'm Igbo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really care that you're a different tribe. You know, we can coexist in harmony. But if you're like, okay, let's say we're in a similar age, whatever, but we're different tribes, you don't speak my Igbo language, I wouldn't just speak English with you unless we're in like a formal setting or maybe in school. But if we're just outside, casual, I'll be like, how far? How far? How far? Like, how are you going? How's it going? That's pidgin. Or like, how you day? And you can say, I day, or so, how you day?
Oh, I day.
Yeah, I day, I'm doing well. Or I could say, how body? So how body, literally, how is your body? And you say, I day, you know, like body. Something like that,
wow.
yeah.
So outside of languages, for the tribes, like, what are some differences in culture?
We have so many tribes, so I wouldn't know exactly all the tribes, but besides being friends with lots of Igbo people, I think the next tribe would be Yoruba people that I know a lot in Thailand. And I would say the main difference would be in how we greet each other. So in Yoruba tribe, they would greet elders by bowing down. Like some people literally lay on the ground. They're very like respectful. With Igbo culture, yeah, we would greet, but sometimes maybe we'll like just bow our head down. But some Yoruba people would literally bow on their knees. So it's different in that sense on how they greet. But yeah, there's differences. But you know, sometimes we like the same food as well. Sometimes like fufu. Like Nigeria, we have semo, right? It's white.
Yeah.
In Yoruba culture, like their thing that they dip in.
Oh, even some foods
amala,
are
it would
different.
be amala, yeah, or like pounded yam.
Wow.
Like not pounded yam, pounded plantains, or things like that. So the soups can be similar, but maybe the things we eat it with might be different. Yeah.
Oh, so I don't know if you know much about this, but in Nigeria, like, do these different people from different tribes like exist together in harmony, or are there some tensions?
I would say we get along pretty well. I think now in the newer generations, we've become more accepting. No one is just going to be like, oh, you're a different tribe from me, I'm not going to be your friend. No one thinks like that, but sometimes maybe the older generations would be they would like to stay with their old tribes. I think I realized that as well, you know. They speak the same language, they eat the same things, they were raised the same way, so I understand why they might be like, they feel gravitated towards their own tribes. And maybe some cultures as well, maybe parents would want kids to marry within the same tribes, I guess.
Is that still a thing?
Sometimes it can still be a thing.
Is it a big thing?
Not really, but it can play an important part in marriages. But now, not really. I see lots of Igbos marry Yoruba tribes, you know. Like, it's just a blended culture. I feel like it's beautiful, you know, because in Igbo cultures, we have weddings in different like, our wedding traditions might be different than the Yoruba tribe. So when a Yoruba person is marrying an Igbo person, they will bring those two cultures in their wedding as well. So I think it's nice to see, but not everyone is like that, honestly. But yeah, we exist well, I think, but maybe when it comes to politics, let's say an Igbo person is running for office, most Igbos would want to vote for Igbo tribe.
Interesting.
The Igbo person who's...
Regardless of the political leaning?
Sometimes they would feel like, yeah, okay, I don't know. I think maybe they might, let's say an Igbo person like the policies of another, like a Yoruba person who's running for president, but they see that this Igbo person did a lot for the Igbo community. So they would maybe go towards the Igbo tribe, like Igbo person who's running for president. But I feel like in general, people sometimes vote based on the tribes. Not everyone does it. Maybe the older generations might. Some younger generations too, honestly. Sometimes I even talk to my Nigerian friends. Some of them don't care, but some of them like some political parties because maybe the leader is
So like they be represented? So
they feel represented. Some people actually feel represented. So I understand in that sense, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
But for me, if I'm going to vote, I think I would look at parties as well and their policies. Yeah.
And also, like, I bet you listen to hip hop or like, consume Hollywood and a lot of like the African American culture too. So what do you think are some differences in the values between, I don't know, like Nigerians and African Americans?
What's funny is I used to listen to hip hop because I thought it would bring me closer to my African American side. But now I don't really listen to hip hop. I think it's not just an African American thing. I think that not every African American person like hip hop, I guess.
Yeah.
But your question if it's like similar or not. I honestly feel like I had more Nigerian influences than African American because my mom's dad is African American. So sometimes he would like influence us a little bit like Thanksgiving. So American Thanksgiving would fall in like November.
End of November?
We don't really celebrate it unless my grandpa talks about it. Then we would bring turkey or maybe like baked mac and cheese, some greens, and then we would do it in Thailand. Thanksgiving like with my grandpa, I guess. But the Thanksgiving that I would usually do would be from like my Nigerian side. So the Nigerian Thanksgiving would usually be celebrated in church. So it would be like it will be towards like December, so like before Christmas, maybe the start of December.
Oh, is that like a big holiday in Nigeria?
Sort of holiday, but it's more so a celebration. It's basically thanking God for what he has done for you throughout the year. So that's our Thanksgiving.
Do you guys do turkey like Americans?
We don't do turkey, we just do food. Jollof rice for sure, lots of foods, yeah. But that would be maybe the differences in maybe holidays, I guess. So yeah. So I would say another difference would be maybe attitudes. So I talk to lots of African American people and I'm like, tell me, because they were raised in America. So how do you feel about like black people there? And they were like, we feel like they're pretty individualistic, I guess. So they're very like go get it, but they like to do things alone. I guess with African cultures, from what I remember is the things they would say is it takes a village. I feel like African Americans say that, but with African people, the thing is I cannot speak for African people. My mistake. I would say Nigerians, because again, like I would ask my friends who are African, like Nigerians specifically, they'll be like, how is African American different from Africa? And I agree with them. We always say the same thing is you cannot group African people together, like there's so many different countries, so many different cultures. So let's say with Nigerians and Black Americans, African Americans, maybe in Nigeria it's very community based, like full on community.
Yeah.
Everyone in the neighborhoods help each other out. Like, I think that might be one of the differences.
For sure, because one of the American values is like being individualistic and like
I think so, yeah.
more so, and African culture, Nigerian culture is more like community, like
we're also very like go get it, like hustle, like work for your money as well, but it's like always a community as well.
Interesting. And now I have a burning question for you, and I know you like to educate people about this, but living in Thailand and growing up, how do you feel about certain words, and how do you think Thai people should call black people in Thai?
I think the best word is piu si. So it's so funny because in general, it's widely accepted to call black people. You don't say colored people. But in Thailand, black people means kon dam. Colored people means piu si. So you would never say colored people in English, But in Thailand, I feel like most people say kon piu si. They will not say kon dam. So I feel like the best way is just kon piu si. Maybe because like the negative connotations with condom. Like I know lots of Malaysians here got called like dum all those stuff, and like maybe in advertisements, I guess, they would say, oh, before dum, ตอนนี้ขาว, things like that.
Like a negative association.
Yeah, it has negative connotations, and lots of Thai people call me kon piu si. I feel like that's how I knew about the word from Thai people.
How did you know about the word?
Yeah, I knew it from Thai people, and even my mom sometimes she would say piu si as well, or people around me they would say piu si. I never hear them say condom, so. That's how I know that. I think kon piu si sounds less like more widely accepted in Thailand.
So you've talked with your friends and that's what you guys agree is like the most?
It wasn't like a conversation. They just started saying it and I was like, okay, I understand. And yeah, I think I understand from their perspective a bit. No one really says condom. But like in my comments, if like an example, someone said, oh, ชอบเวลาคนดำพูดไทย So they said, I like it when black people speak Thai. I don't feel anything about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm a black person, but maybe they just don't think much about the words. And I would have people reply and say เพ วกเราไม่เรียกว่าคนดำแล้วนะเรียกว่าผิวสี like we don't say black now we say colored so I usually don't engage in that conversation because they both have their own opinions and I feel like when someone says things like that like อ๋อชอบเวลาคนดำพูดไทย I like when black people speak Thai it's not in a bad way so I'm not going to be like hey don't call me คนดำyou know it's not a big thing for me to just go correct them so however you want to address me it's okay but generally people address me as คนผิวสี so I feel like it's accepted that way
it's good that we have social media right because I feel like nowadays people are becoming more aware
people
of these
being
things
more respectful and polite now so it's really nice to see that they're all like it's nice to see Thai people who are not like black would come together and like find ways to accommodate other people
right
I think that's
because
really
I'm
sweet.
sure your mom if she grew up in Thailand must have had like a completely different experience too right
yeah she did but now obviously it's better and me too now like I had it growing up and it's better now so I'm just glad that society is changing everyone is becoming accepting yeah
so for this next part I wanted to talk about a big part of you which is Christianity and so can you talk a little bit about like why Christianity has been important to you and what it means to Nigerian culture because you said it's huge for Nigerian culture too
so my parents are pastors in the church they teach Bibles and like Bible study and stuff they're preachers basically I'm a pastor's kid and sometimes they would also have like Bible courses in universities as well so they used to do that quite a lot and they also had a Bible school with my church so people actually graduated from that it's not just for people who want to become pastors it's just to learn more about the Bible and like immerse yourself into like Bible study and the word of God so I was raised as a Christian I cannot imagine my life not as a Christian it's such a big part of my life
what sector of Christianity like Protestant
so in Thailand it would like either be Catholics or Protestant so I'm Protestant so I have a church here in Thailand you can check it out it's the Bride of Christ Ministry in Bangkok Thailand in Sinakarin Soy 47 so yeah we call ourselves Protestant church and yeah I grew up as a Christian I went to church like every Sundays as a kid and yeah that was just like my upbringing I was so into Bible school Sunday school you know we would do arts and craft about the Bible we learned Bible stories I loved it so much and it's good because I love history as well so like the Bible is like history as well you learn things about the past but there's always a lesson for you and I love that as well and then like people think I'm a Christian because my parents are pastors but I feel like religion is not just about the book the Holy Bible, you know, like the religious book or going to church or praying, it's also a relationship you have with God or Jesus. So when I grew up, I felt like I had to find religion for myself, not just listen to, I didn't feel like my parents were telling me what to do.
Right.
But like, you know, it's a big thing, like even in Nigerian culture, every Sunday the parents tell you, let's go to church, we go to church as a family, you know, it's a really big thing. But I know lots of people who grew up Christians who are now becoming stronger in their faith because they found it themselves. Like you need to find it yourself. You need to actually read the Bible yourself. What do you understand from this? How do you feel? So I felt like at some point, maybe in my late teens, honestly, like I felt like I'm fully understanding this religion and its values and I like take time and learn it for myself. So it became such a big part of my life. And I just cannot imagine like not being a Christian.
Right.
Yeah.
So even though you grew up as like a pastor's kid and in that environment, but you developed your own personal relationship with God. And I wanted to ask you, like nowadays in Thailand, there's a trend that kids are becoming less and less religious. You know, the biggest religion here is Buddhism, and there's a lot of good values associated with Buddhism, and I'm sure Christianity too. Like, why do you think religion could still be important to someone to keep? Like, what kind of things does it provide for you in your life?
Well, I don't know about other religions, but as a Christian, the main message from Jesus is to love thy neighbor as you love thyself. That's literally a verse he said, and like Jesus said. So you're my neighbor. I have to love you as much as I love myself. Like love in the sense of if you need anything, I would have to help you because I would want someone to help me. If you're in trouble, I would need to help you. If you're in pain, whoever they are, like even if I don't know that person, that's the best way to show love is to not judge, to not be mean, to not be rude. And I feel like in this day and age, that's what we need. Even just making content, you know, I feel like before, when I started making content early on, I faced like lots of like racism actually, but it wasn't from Thai people, okay? It was not from Thai people, but like people would just say such mean things. And I feel like if I wasn't a Christian, I would take time to argue back this and that. But I think it's just as a Christian, I was like, I feel like they have not found the love of God. And I feel like I really do have the love of God in me because I'm able to not just react in such a harsh way. So when people are mean to me or when I face like mean things on social media, I feel like I don't face much now on social media because people are really nice. But maybe in person or I see my friends arguing, I try to just say, let's try to show love. You know, even if someone is so mean to you, like just try to show love. I think maybe some people don't understand this, but I think it was in the Bible. Yeah, it was in the Bible. I think Jesus said if someone slaps your face, turn your other face so he can slap your other face. You know, instead of slapping his face back, instead of doing things back, just let him do it to you and show him love. Some people might not understand that. They're like, look, if someone hits me, I'm going to hit back. But I think sometimes it was beyond my understanding. But again, finding religion for myself, just reading it myself and understanding it, it just helps me to like be calm if I face any bad feelings or hurt. It really helps me to just be calm and try to show love and show love to other people in the way I want them to show me love. And if they don't show me love, I can like honestly pray for them. Like if someone is being mean, just pray for them. Like I hope you find peace with yourself. You know?
Right.
Yeah, that's how I feel like religion helped me a lot.
Yeah, those are some amazing values to have.
Thank you.
And so now that you're studying law at Thammasat and you're making content, like what is your upcoming like goals or what do you plan for your like short-term future?
Well, definitely become a lawyer. So my plan right now anyways is to obviously graduate in Thammasat University and then lots of people ask me if I'm going to do the bar in Thailand. The Thai legal system is quite different anyways because to do the bar means you will become a Thai judge. And then there's a lawyer's license. It's separate. Being a lawyer's license is you do the lawyer's license, you become a lawyer. And you can like argue your case in court and stuff. But both of the exams are in Thai.
What is the ne?
Sop ne is the bar. That's the bar. So I was like, I don't think, at first I wanted to, but...
You don't want to work in Thailand?
I can work in Thailand because I already have Thai law knowledge, but it would have to be in like an international law firm. So I don't mind doing that actually, but my plan right now is after graduating is to continue my studies in Nigeria.
Wow.
I want to do the bar in Nigeria. I want to become a barrister and get called to the bar in Nigeria.
Wow.
I'm actually really looking forward to that and I'm really excited for that. And it's in English, so perfect. But I would also need to study the basics of Nigerian law, you know, because I only have Thai law, but it would just be like the basics of constitutional law, so like criminal law.
How will you do that? You have to study it yourself?
Oh, I would go to, it's a law school, like bar school.
No, I mean like before you go to...
Oh, no, I will study there. Yeah, so it's like a actual
So you
law
start
school.
everything, like the basics, everything from in
Yeah,
Nigeria?
just mainly the laws that you would need to know. There's a program for people who studied abroad, because lots of people studied abroad but want to go back to Nigeria.
Cool.
So there's a program for them, and then once I pass that program, I will study law with every other Nigerian law student who studied in Nigeria or abroad, and we will study for the bar. And once we pass, we get called to the bar.
Whoa,
so that's my plan now.
Why do you have this plan? Like, do you feel like a calling back to Nigeria or something?
I feel like a calling. Sometimes I actually do miss Nigeria a lot, you know, and I've been in Thailand my whole life. I see myself working in Thailand, sure, but I really want to go back to Nigeria and just get my education there because, like, some people graduate from law school and they don't care to do the bar. Some people don't care to do the bar.
It's not necessary?
Like in Thailand, not everyone does the bar. In some places, like in America, most people do the bar, but some people might not even want to become lawyers. They just want to have legal knowledge. Maybe they want to work in like HR or something, or work in like a legal field. But for me, I feel like I want to do the bar. Like if I made it through law school, I told myself I need to do the bar at some point. And Nigeria is also my home. Like at first I wanted to go to America, but that's an extra 4 years. You know, we need to go to law school for another 4 years. I'm like, no, I don't have the time.
How long would it take in Nigeria?
Like a year and a half.
Oh.
But in America, it will be extra 4 years.
Wow.
And plus, I don't see myself working in the legal field in America at all.
Yeah.
So I don't mind doing it in Nigeria because once I'm in Nigeria, I can also relocate to the UK. Lots of Nigerian lawyers work in the UK as well, so I can go that route. And I also have Thai law with me, so I can come back to Thailand and work in like a legal office.
And your dream of becoming president, are you still looking to get into the political
We'll
field?
see. I'm 21 now, so I would have to be at least 35. So maybe in the next 15, 14 years.
You could apply for both Nigeria and Thailand, right?
Yeah, I just don't see myself leading the country in Thailand. I don't know, but if I'm going to enter into politics, I don't mind actually like studying political science like for masters or maybe international law like as a master's, but I don't think I want to like study again. Like I like studying of course, but after becoming a lawyer, passing the bar, I think I will know what to do. But let's say I enter politics, I feel like it would be Nigerian politics. I think I wouldn't mind getting into that.
Okay.
side.
Well, good luck with that. I'm sure you're going to do great.
Thank you so much.
And lastly, I wanted to ask you, like, what do you dream of? What's like a big thing you want to see happen in the world, or what do you see yourself doing like in the future?
Okay, big thing happening in the world. I know it's so cliche, world peace, of course. Like,
Very
I
Miss
feel like-
Universe.
I feel like things are getting better though. People are becoming more open-minded. They're becoming more considerate with each other, which is what I love. Things for the world, I feel like that's too much. I don't know. I feel like right now I would just focus on things that I can do. Things like the impact I can give on other people. So like my goals now, yeah, besides my educational goals, obviously to become a lawyer and like my career path, I think just starting social media really like broadened, like opened my eyes more to how individuals can really, I wouldn't want to say like influence, but somehow make an impact. So I started when I did social media. My goal was to basically talk about law school. I didn't plan to vlog in Thai or make content in Thai at all. I was like, nope, I'm not gonna do that because I didn't think my Thai was good. So I just wanted to make law school content for exchange students and foreign people who were interested in university life in Thailand. And I started making content in Thai. Well, okay, I think one video of me, like 2 of my English videos went viral with like non-Thai people in Thailand. And they were like, wow, like Thai people are not racist. Like racism was a big thing, you know? And people were like so interested that I'm a black person in Thailand. I don't have a bad experience. So I was like, yeah, so at that point, I feel like I succeeded my goal to show that there's no racism. And like, I don't want to just post all the time about racism, you know? Because I don't think there's much anymore for me to post in Thailand besides my upbringing. So yeah, besides that, people were still interested in my life. And then I posted a video in Thai. I was like, wow, Thai people like it. So I didn't know like what goal I could have with Thai people, but it's crazy now that I have lots of Thai people telling me like, oh, you made me so much confident. Like actual Thai people who might have like darker skin. They're like, seeing you being so confident in your skin makes me confident in my skin. And even like Blasian kids here, like when I first made content, I didn't think of like, oh, let me impact Blasian kids or other people, you know, but like now they're like, I got bullied a lot in school and seeing you having a good time makes me happy. I'm so happy. So it's just, it feels really good that I can like make someone else happy with just videos about my life. So I think with overall my goal is just to help people feel more confident, to enjoy life. And yeah, I think that's the goal I'm just doing right now.
Do you feel like a responsibility now that you're like representing people because you have a platform?
At some point, because I have lots of older people follow me, people my age, and younger people. I have a whole age range. I was so shocked when I found someone to like follow me and they're like, oh, I'm 12. I'm like, that is so young. I have like, or like a little kid came up to me and she was like, ชอบ vlog ของพี่นะคะ She's 9 years old. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I would have older people. I would go to the MRT and like a mom was with her kid and she's like, I love your videos. I'm like, oh my goodness. So it's like a whole age range. So with responsibility, maybe, I don't know. I just try to be myself in the best way, but knowing that I have lots of different age range, I just tell myself, how can I impact these people and how can I make it worthwhile when they're watching my videos? So when it comes to responsibility, I'm not sure. I don't feel much pressure to like have to act a certain way or to accommodate everyone. Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And thank you so much for today. And
thank you so much,
thank you
for,
so
your
much for
time.
sharing so much of your life and your culture with me. And, you know, I'm sure that it's super interesting to a lot of people too.
Thank you for listening.
ขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณค่ะ Thank you.